There are seasons in life. They arrive and they depart. Some pass through quickly, like a brief, unexpected rain shower on a summer afternoon. Others linger for a long time, their presence becoming a familiar part of the daily landscape. Each season carries its own unique weather. Each season carries its own particular light. It does not announce its arrival with a grand declaration. Instead, it unfolds quietly, subtly. It speaks in a language that is not made of words. It communicates through feeling, through shifts in energy, through a change in the inner atmosphere. It offers a quiet invitation, not a command. The invitation is simply to be present, to listen. I sit. I do not fill the space with rush. I find a simple chair, perhaps near a window where the light can enter and touch the room. I sit and I watch the light as it moves slowly across the floor, changing the color of the wood. The room around me is still, holding the silence like a vessel. In this stillness, the season moves within me, much like the weather shifts outside. It can feel like a low hanging mist, a bright sun, a gentle, persistent wind. I do not try to name it or predict its course. I simply listen. I feel its presence. The very first thing this season asks of me is to notice. It gently suggests that I slow the pace of my steps, that I feel the ground beneath my feet. It encourages me to align my breath with the rhythm of the day, to inhale the morning and exhale the afternoon. So I walk down a familiar path, but I walk slowly, as if for the first time. My feet connect with the earth. I hear the soft rustling sounds of leaves. My mind might want to hurry ahead, to make lists, to solve problems. I do not engage in a battle with it. I simply return to the feeling of walking, to the simple truth of the moment. The season of life I find myself in right now is a teacher of slowness. It does not shout its lessons. It whispers them in the quiet moments between activities. It invites me to put down the many things I am carrying, if only for a short while. I find a comfortable place to sit, a cushion on the floor, a bench in a park. My hands rest in my lap. My gaze becomes soft. I am not waiting for something to happen. I am not trying to achieve a state of perfect calm. I am simply allowing myself to be still. I inhabit this one small pocket of time completely. In this slowness, I begin to notice the details that are often lost in the rush. I see the intricate patterns on a leaf. I feel the warmth of a ceramic mug against my palms. These are not grand revelations, but small grounding truths. This quiet act of listening is very different from the act of doing. The part of us that wants to do is always looking for an answer, a solution, a definite plan. Doing seeks control and a clear path forward. Listening, however, allows things to be exactly as they are, without judgment or interference. When I practice listening, I begin to hear the smaller, more subtle sounds. I hear the whisper of the wind as it moves through the trees. I notice a small hesitation in my own voice when I speak. I feel a subtle shift in my chest, a tightening, a softening. I notice a thought that arises, stays for a moment, and then passes on its own. I do not try to fix the color of the sky. I only listen. It is listening with the whole of my being. This moment is allowed to be as it is. There is no need to rush. Outside my window, the natural world offers its quiet teachings. It does not use words, but it speaks volumes. Nature is a mirror for the inner shifts that are too subtle for language. I look at a tall old tree. It has endured countless storms. Its bark is scarred. Some of its branches are broken, yet it stands with a quiet dignity. It does not hide its imperfections. They are part of its story. They are part of its strength. The tree does not complain about the weather. It simply exists within it, adapting, reaching for the light, its roots holding firm in the earth. It shows me how to be with my own history, with my own scars. I watch the river as it flows. It moves at its own pace. It does not hurry to reach the ocean. When it encounters a large stone, it does not try to break it. It flows around it. The river shows me the wisdom of yielding, the power of gentle persistence. It reminds me that not every obstacle needs force. Sometimes the path forward is found by softening, by allowing the current of life to find its own way. I imagine my own life like that river. I do not need to force the current. I can allow it to move, to navigate the stones on its path. The season is teaching me to be a little softer, a little more like water. A leaf falls from a branch. It drifts slowly to the ground. It is not a moment of failure or tragedy. It is a natural part of a cycle. It is a letting go that makes space for new growth. It reminds me of the things in my own life that are falling away. Perhaps it is an old belief, a relationship that has run its course, or a dream that has changed. Some days, the season asks for nothing more than rest. This is not the rest of exhaustion after a long day of work. It is a deeper, more intentional rest. It is a conscious choice to be still. I might lie on the grass and watch the clouds drift across the sky. Clouds change shape, morphing from one form to another without effort. A dog barks in the distance. My hands are still. My body feels heavy and connected to the earth. In this moment, no one is asking me to fix the world. The world moves on, and I am simply breathing with it. Rest can feel as simple and profound as a single slow breath. It is the quiet pause between two musical notes. Other times, the season asks me to simply notice what is present without any agenda. This could be a feeling of joy, or it could be a feeling of boredom. The mind often judges boredom as something to be avoided, but the season invites me to sit with the boredom, to feel its texture. What is it like to have nothing to do, nowhere to go? What happens when I don't immediately reach for my phone or a book to fill the space? Sometimes, in the heart of that boredom, a quiet creativity begins to stir. A new idea, a forgotten memory, a simple observation. Resting with what is means accepting the emotional weather of the day. There are days filled with sunshine, warmth. There are also days that are gray and overcast. On a gray day, I do not need to force myself to feel sunny. I can allow the grayness to be there. I can make a cup of tea and wrap myself in a warm blanket. This is not giving up. It is a form of gentle self-care. Listening to the season is different from listening to a conversation. It does not involve analyzing words or formulating a response. It is a deeper, more embodied form of listening. It is listening with the whole of my being. When I listen in this way, I do not rush to plan or fix. I let thoughts and feelings arise and pass like clouds in the sky. Some clouds are dark and heavy. Some are light and wispy. I do not try to hold on to the pleasant ones or push away the difficult ones. I simply observe their movement. This is not easy. The mind is accustomed to being busy, to grasping and rejecting. The habit of the mind is to constantly narrate, to label everything as good or bad, right or wrong. It wants to create a story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. But the season does not speak in clear narratives. It speaks in sensations, in moods, in moments of quiet insight. To listen to it, I have to be willing to let go of the need for a story. I have to be willing to sit in the mystery, in the not knowing. The season can also ask for my quiet attention to loss, a person, a job, a phase of life that has ended. A space that was once full of sound and activity is now quiet. My first instinct may be to fill that quiet with noise, with distractions, with busyness. I want to avoid the ache of the empty space, but the season invites me to do something different. It invites me to let the quiet be. It asks me to learn the specific language of this particular missing. It has its own tone, its own rhythm. It asks for gentle presence, not for a quick and easy solution. I sit and I listen to that quiet tone. This listening is a way of honoring what was. By not rushing to fill the space, I acknowledge the importance of what is no longer there. Grief is not a problem to be solved. It is a natural response to love. The season teaches me to hold this grief with respect, as if it were a fragile object. I do not need to analyze it or justify it. I can simply feel it. Some days it is heavy, a weight in my chest. Other days it is a gentle wave of sadness that comes and goes. By allowing it to be, I am also allowing the love that is connected to it to remain alive within me. In the same quiet way, the season asks for my attention to small joys. A cup of tea in the morning, the taste of a fresh piece of fruit. I pay attention to the way sunlight rests on a wooden table, creating a golden square. I let my eyes rest on the deep green of a new leaf. These small joys are simple, powerful teachers. They do not erase the difficulties, but they exist alongside them. As I continue to listen, I begin to meet my own edges. These are the places where I feel uncomfortable, the boundaries of what I think I can handle. I meet the parts of myself that I like and the parts that I do not like. I come face to face with fear, with impatience, with a deep longing for things to be different. I also meet hope, resilience, a quiet, unassuming bravery. My tendency is to categorize these experiences, to push away the difficult ones and cling to the pleasant ones. But the season invites me to simply watch them all without creating a hierarchy. I see these feelings and thoughts as clouds passing through the vast open sky of my awareness. The sky does not grab onto the clouds. It does not try to change their shape or color. It simply provides the space for them to be. I practice being the sky. I watch the cloud of anger pass. I watch the cloud of peace pass. I do not try to hold on to them. I do not try to own them. They are not me. They are visitors passing through. By not identifying with them so strongly, I find a sense of freedom. I am the space in which these experiences happen, not the experiences themselves. The season sometimes asks for a small, quiet act of courage. This is not the courage of a hero in a story. It is the courage to stay present with a feeling that I desperately want to run away from. It might be a feeling of shame or loneliness or inadequacy. I sit with it, I breathe with it. I do not place a story or a plan over it. I simply let it speak its own language, which is often a language of pure sensation in the body. I do not need to fix it. I only need to hold a small, kind space for it. In that space, the feeling may begin to soften and change, or it may stay for a while. Either way is okay. I do not make it wrong. I meet other people in this season of my life. Perhaps I share a quiet cup of coffee with a friend. I find myself listening to them in this same way. I listen to their small sounds, the pauses in their speech, the feelings behind their words. My habit might be to offer advice, to share a similar story, to try to solve their problem. But the season has been teaching me another way. Instead, I offer my quiet presence. This can be a profound gift. Quiet presence is a form of deep care. It communicates a simple, powerful message. I am here with you. I am not trying to fix you. I will sit with you in this. I do not seek clear answers from this process. I do not look for neat endings or tidy resolutions. This season of my life is not a puzzle to be solved or a problem to be overcome. It is much more like a piece of music to be listened to. Some days the music is slow and melancholic. Other days it is light and hopeful. My task is simply to stay with the tune, to feel its rhythm in my body. I can hum along quietly. I do not try to force new words onto the song or demand that it change its key. I allow the song of the season to unfold on its own time, in its own way. At times, I feel a gentle sense of grief. It is not a loud, overwhelming grief. It is more like a soft, steady rain falling in the distance. My old habit would be to run for cover, to wipe the ground dry immediately. Now I try to let it rain. I hold an umbrella for no one. I let the rain do what it needs to do to soften the hard ground. When the rain stops, the air is clearer. The path is softer under my feet. I walk slowly over it with no sense of hurry. The grief has cleansed something. It has made the ground fertile for whatever might grow next. There are no directions that come from this season. There are no step-by-step instructions. There are only invitations. The invitations are soft and subtle. They ask me to look more closely. They ask me to wait more patiently. They ask me to feel more fully. They ask me to carve out a small space of silence in my day. They ask me to let questions sit in the air without demanding immediate answers. They want me to notice the small incremental changes in the light, in my body, in my heart. They want me to be present for my own life, just as it is. This is the quiet work. I end my day in much the same way I began it. I find my chair, I sit, I breathe. I do not make a list of what I have learned. I do not create a plan for what the rest of the season will look like. I simply hold a gentle question in my mind. The question is not sharp or demanding. It does not require a quick, clever answer. It is more like a soft, open window, letting in the air of the present moment. I let the question rest there, without pressure. I let my breath be the only answer it needs for now.